Hello everybody, I'm Neda Nikuyi and welcome to Online Fashion Workshop. With an increasing amount of isolation and social distancing, the novel coronavirus is challenging Americans and people all around the world in more ways than one. So after a lengthy discussion of whether we should wear homemade masks or not, the decision was made overnight. And the next day, we all had to wear masks when going to common places like supermarkets or walking on the streets. Masks in a variety of styles, colors, and materials have appeared on the faces and on social media. While it's a great news that many people are doing their part and contributing to slow the spread and protect other people, the bad news is that there is a lot of wrong information out there that can be frustrating. So, what are the necessary elements our masks have to have? Your handmade mask should be snug around your face. So, if it's little stuffy, probably it's the right fit. The mask should sit on your face, covering your jawbone, ideally cover under your chin. It should cover your nose completely and have no gaps on the sides. They should be made of 100% cotton, canvas, or any type of multiple or pre-washed tight weave fabrics in 2 or 3 layers and not knit fabrics. Please stay away from loose weave fabrics such as muslin, wool, cheesecloth, or linen. The ideal 100% cotton fabrics can be found in your closet or at your drawers. Old jeans, cargo shorts, pillowcases, tablecloth, cotton cloth napkins, these are all great examples. I know it's really hard to find new materials nowadays, but you might have these already and you can turn them into hand-sewn face masks. I personally had a hard time finding pre-washed cotton fabrics because most of my fabrics are novelty laces and silks. So I had to cut few pillowcases, my kids' old shorts, and my husband's old jeans. I found some elastics from my old pajamas and some bra that I wasn't using. Some people use shoelaces or bias cut bands, and some lucky ones find elastics online. At first, I found a face mask pattern online that many people were using, and after sewing it, I realized it's a better fit for smaller frame bone structure and it wasn't giving me enough coverage below my jawbone. That led me to touch my masks many times, trying to adjust it on my face even with the smallest mouth movement. So I made my own pattern, which needs a small dart at the bottom of my face mask pattern to fit snug below the chin and close to your neck. Let's get started and sew some masks. This is the new pattern I made. Lining pattern is going to be a little shorter than actual main fabric pattern. So I'm just gonna fold it here and make a lining, cut lining, and open it up and use it as a main fabric. Any other patterns online that I found? It was kind of small for my face and it did not cover my jawline and around my neck area. And I felt if I open up my mouth a little bit, even for saying something, I had to use my hand to adjust the bottom of my mask because it was kind of small and my jawbone would come out. So I made another pattern and made it a little bit different around the nose area. I extend a little bit, extended the bottom and extended on the side. When I extended the bottom, so it's kind of become open and loose at the bottom. So I added a little dart which gonna kind of be very snug around your bottom of the chin and it's gonna sit properly tight as you see in the video and in the pictures. So I started looking around the house and in my closet and I realized actually pillowcases are perfect for lining, or even if you have a little bit more, because these are thin and we don't really want a very thin fabric for our masks. So I'm gonna use the softer pillowcase for lining. I found my kids now is kind of tight but perfect, many time washed, 100% cotton, but it's kind of like thick one. So these are are great for using it and cutting for our face mask main fabric. This is a good idea, using kind of a shoelace too. I'll show you how we can use this. Or if you're a lucky one, which I became lucky after a very long research and searching online, I found elastics. So I'm gonna use this today. But in other way, you can use bias bands, bias strips, and I will show you how to make the bias strips too and how we can attach it as well. And what else would work, well to use? Old jeans. These are, especially the kind of softer ones, these are perfect for our main fabric. They're sturdy, you can use it for a long time. So old jeans, which I already cut, made I made few masks for our family. What else? We need this kind of pipe cleaners I found around the nose area, putting for the adjustment. So it will sit around your nose and it's gonna give you a snug, tight fit around your nose. The one that I found, actually I had it in my kitchen, is the one has a little spikes in here, and it is kind of like very spiky and it kind of hurts almost. If you have these ones and you think you cannot use it, the one thing you can do, you can cut them actually. Just cut a little. I know it's a little work, but hey, it's worth it. You would want something like that to give you a close fit around your nose, especially if you are wearing a glass, which I do, and I need a tight fit around my nose so I can place my glasses on my face better without making it foggy. You start cutting that little spikes pieces. It's kind of a scratchy, so we cut these little pieces so it kind of makes it smooth, and you just touch it, and anything that kind of scratches your finger, your skin, you just go ahead and cut it and clean it. This is what I had. If I can find anything else without this, I definitely would use it, but since I do have it, I put a little bit more work, and I rather to use whatever I have and not waste anything. So we start cutting our lining first. Start drawing. Don't forget to put your mark for your darts. I make my mark here, and so which is already unfold, I'm gonna start cutting it right away. Use some pin so they don't get separate. Okay. So this is my lining. Open up all the seams. So maybe I use this small one for my kids' face mask, which is going to be much smaller than this, and use the back side of the pants to do the adult face masks. So use another one, so it is going to be here. Okay. Yep. So I'm just going to use the smaller ones for the kids version. And these ones for bigger masks. So when you cut the mask, don't forget to flip it, you know, or when you use it, flip it other side, so you have the symmetry mirror image of what you have when you cut. Otherwise you're gonna have the same side 2 times same fabric. These are chalk, which is chalk powder in this case. Just a reminder of my seam allowance will be just 1/4 inch. Okay, so we have one side. I'm gonna use the other side of the mirror image of the main fabric, main pattern. So 2 main fabrics and 2 linings already. And some of my elastics gonna be ready, and my pipe cleaner. This is a straight grain and this is a cross grain. So if you take side of the fabric and fold it in 45, this is your true bias. So for this I need to make some elastic bands. You can mark this. As your fold of 45 degree 45 degree angle. Okay, open it up. Oh, yeah, that one is easier to draw. And for the bias bands, 1 inch should be enough to make your bias strips. So you would need 4 instead of 2, because you're gonna tighten it around in back of your head and around back of your neck. For using the lining for the nose adjustment, these pipe cleaners, I need something about this size, which is like 6 inches or 5 inches, which is gonna be kind of like covering this as this and attach it to your face masks. So I made it shorten. It was kind of like more like an 8 inch. It was too big, and I cut it short to around something about 5 inch now, which should be 6 inches should be more than enough for you to cover it, so as a cover. So 6 inches, 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah, and it's about 1.5 inches. Let's make it the thickness for this about 1.5 inches. Let's see if it's gonna be enough for. Yeah, it covers it. So let's just put some pins so they don't kind of detach from each other. These are in fold. I mean, cutting bias, anything bias is harder, but since this is a very cotton and they kind of stick together, it wouldn't be so easy if you would going to do with something like silks or satin. So let's separate them. Noseband. So I do have, let's go back. I do have my main fabric and lining fabric here. I do have a white thread on the machine right now, so I'm gonna start with sewing the lining first. I place face to face, and I just remind myself it was like 1/4 inch, and start sewing our mask. As we remember, we did have darts. Now we should go and close our darts. Before we cut and close our darts, we have to make the mark on the back side of the lining. So this is the mark of my end of the lining, end of the dart, so I just put a pin there and then turn it back and I mark there. Okay, so we start closing our dart. Open up back, find the notches, then close, find the notch, end of the dart, then start placing here. And we do the other side. So we have our darts. Now I need to add the nose adjustment band around the nose area. So first I will go and close this. So I need to press this. So I press this in fold. Gonna fold this and find the center. Just gonna add it to the center of the mask as well. I'm gonna attach that part together. we can stitch only the bottom of it. Can attach this little top part so it stays on its place before we So on this side I kind of gonna fold about half an inch and sew this part. So I folded in 2/4 inches, which is going to make it half an inch. So I'm going to sew this part. To put another top stitch on the other side too, make it more flat. So this part is ready. I'm gonna change the thread. So I'm going to attach the main fabric center front first and then darts later. It's going to be at the 1/4 inch. I need to make a mark of the back of the dart. So I'm closing the darts now. So on the main fabric, I close the darts as well. I can go ahead and add the top stitch on here, but before I do that, I need to make a little small slashes here, so it kind of makes it easier to open up flexible in here when it, because it has a kind of round. So I go ahead and do the top stitch on here. I avoid top stitching on the first centimeters or first quarter inch. I start from the kind of little bit down so it doesn't add thickness. This point I will attach my lining to my face main fabrics. So I find both center front So I go ahead and attach this part about quarter inch. Now I start stitching this part, the bottom of the mask, the top mask. The top side of the mask is sewn to attach to the lining. Now you're gonna do the bottom. I'm gonna start from here. Quarter inch. Now we're gonna put the little cuts around here so it makes it softer too, especially around this nose area. Little cuts in here too. Double stitching to just make sure it's pretty strong. Okay, let's turn this over. I'm just gonna go over and press with the iron to make it flatter before I fold this part and attach the elastics. I pressed with the iron, make it little sit better. So now either you can put top stitch on here, but I might not use that. So next thing, we have to do a folding on the side of this. We can go fold 1/4 and then the second one, and then put a stitch, stitching this part. Just gonna fold on the side. It's gonna parallel fold next to the lining. So in this side we fold once and we fold twice. And we're gonna put the stitches in here. And we do the other side too. We can go ahead and attach elastics like that, or this part needs to be added too. We cut that part and we can stitch these two sides. So close the nose adjustment case on the side so it doesn't come out. You kind of lock from side to side. So this is done. That's gonna be it for me. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure you leave the thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Stay safe and goodbye.